I met him on a server for this old sandbox survival game. It was clunky, half-broken, and barely updated. The kind of game you'd never find unless you were looking for it. But we both were middle schoolers, terminally bored and buried in the long, forgettable hours after school. We clicked instantly. It started with base-building tips, little hacks for surviving longer. Then came the jokes, then the late-night chats. He always had something new to show me. Obscure YouTube playlists full of glitchcore ambient tracks, forgotten mods buried in Russian forums, stories scraped from lost subreddits. His username? 2 short words and a number, always the same. I stopped wondering what it meant after the first week. We never voice chatted, only text. That was fine. Better even. There was something about the distance, the curtain between who we were and who we could pretend to be, that made the whole thing easier. But a few months in, something shifted. He started pulling back. He left our Discord, quietly exited group chats, said everything was becoming too managed. That was the word he used, managed. He hated the feeling of being sorted, tracked, labeled. Then came the message that changed everything. You ever hear about the real internet? Not the garbage they put on Chrome, the actual deep net. I told him I'd heard stories, sketchy YouTube videos, a few late-night Reddit threads. But I never went looking. He said 90% of that was just clickbait. The rest? Buried too deep to find unless someone showed you the way. Said he found something real. A forum, hidden, anonymous, unfiltered. A place untouched by ads, moderation, or algorithms. He wanted me to see it. What he sent wasn't a link. It was a plain .text file. Just raw instructions. A manual of sorts, written in a strange mix of hacker slang and paranoid whispers. It read like a dare. I printed it, copied the details into my notebook, the same one I used for game cheats and homework passwords. Then I tucked it into the front pouch of my backpack like it was some kind of map. I had 2 computers, one at my mom's apartment, one at my dad's house. Neither were synced. If I wanted access, no matter where I was, I had to install everything twice. I never told him that. Didn't like talking about my family. It was messy. Mom 1 week, Dad the next, equal split. When I was at Mom's, Jake, my stepbrother, stayed with Dad, and vice versa. Jake and I were the same age, but not the same kind. We weren't enemies, just wired differently. None of them knew about the forum. Not Mom, not Dad. Definitely not Jake. As far as they knew, I'd stopped talking to that game friend ages ago. But that week, I was at Mom's, which meant next week, I'd be at Dad's. I prepped both machines, split the access instructions across scraps of paper, taping them inside each desk drawer. The night I logged in, everything was quiet. House asleep. My bedroom dark, but for the soft glow of a clip-on USB lamp. I followed the manual line by line. I typed the address, triple-checked it. My heart kicked a little as the browser loaded. Gray background, black text, a login prompt, then threads, hundreds of them, rolling, flickering, alive. I used the temp login he gave me, a shared account to register. He said to only use it once. Inside, it was different. Not a message board, a living network. Threads updated in real time. Usernames glowed. Some posts were nonsense. Others felt like in-jokes from a place you weren't sure actually existed. There were strange riddles, links with no context, memes that made no sense unless you were already deep inside. I stuck to the humor board at first. Memes, games, weird experimental jokes. That's where I saw him again. Same username, same style. Like he never left. He messaged me in minutes. Told you you'd find it. Wasn't sure you'd actually follow through. He invited me to a smaller sub-forum. Said it was safer, quieter. I joined. Things escalated fast. We joked around. Posted weird stuff that would get you banned on any normal site. Not illegal, just chaotic. Wrong in a funny, adolescent way. I made a profile, joked along, earned karma. One of my offhand posts, some bizarre daydream I had during math class, blew up. Front page. People quoted it, remixed it, DM'd me compliments. He messaged me again. Knew you'd fit in here. I was hooked. But then, on a random Friday at school, I checked the forum from my phone. Buried inside a fake calculator app I'd hidden on my home screen, one new message. They're going to shut it down. I don't want to lose touch. Then another. We need to talk. I don't use Discord anymore, but I live near you. My blood went cold. I never told him where I lived, not even the state. But he seemed so casual about it. Said he recognized stuff I'd mentioned, neighborhoods, school mascots, stuff I forgot I'd even posted. He wanted to meet, face to face. I said yes. Saturday came faster than I expected. I told him to meet me at my dad's place around 2 p.m. Said we could sit on the porch, hang out, maybe walk to the gas station. I figured I'd keep it casual. My dad usually ran errands mid-afternoon, so we'd have the place to ourselves. I didn't mention my mom, or the way my life ping-ponged back and forth every week. I figured it didn't matter. That night, I stayed up imagining the meetup, what he looked like, what I'd say, how weird it would be to put a face to the words in memes and glitchy messages. I couldn't sleep. Then, just past midnight, my mom knocked. "You'll be staying here another week," she said casually. I blinked. "Why?" "Jake had some trouble at school. He needs space, so we're flipping the schedule. Just for now." She walked off like it was no big deal. But my stomach flipped. I spun to my desk, turned on my PC, opened the browser. Typed the forum's URL, nothing. Gray screen, spinning icon, no connection. I tried again. Then the backup URL. Then the mirror address from the bottom of the notebook. All dead. Gone. I pulled out my phone. Same thing. Timeout errors. Blank pages. I stared at the wall, panic rising. He was going to my dad's house. I wasn't going to be there. And now I had no way to reach him. I barely slept. I kept going over every possible version of how the meeting could go. Best case scenario. He showed up. Nobody answered. He left. Worst case. I didn't let myself go there yet. At breakfast, I asked if I could visit Dad's. "You'll see him next week," my mom said. I left my charger and hoodie. "You'll survive without them," she said. "Jake needs space. Give it to him." I didn't argue, not out loud. But inside, I was screaming. The morning dragged. I cleaned, folded laundry, vacuumed. Every hour felt like it took 10. At 4 p.m., I grabbed my bike and told my mom I was going outside. She barely looked up. I pedaled hard, fast, right toward my dad's neighborhood. My legs burned by the time I hit the turn onto his street. Everything looked normal. Except the front door. It was ajar, just barely, like someone hadn't closed it all the way. I stepped onto the porch and knocked. "Dad?" No answer. "Jake?" Still nothing. I pushed the door open. The air inside was too still, like the house was holding its breath. "Dad?" The living room was empty. The kitchen, dark. Then I smelled it. Something metallic, coppery, not cleaning products, not food. Something thick. I moved down the hall. My feet felt like blocks, each step harder than the last. Then I saw him, my dad, on the kitchen floor, face down, a pool of blood spreading from under him. I froze, couldn't breathe, couldn't move, just stared. My brain refused to register what was in front of me. Then everything snapped back. I turned and ran, slammed into the hallway wall, bolted through the front door, didn't close it, didn't look back. I pedaled until my legs felt like they were splitting open, didn't stop until I reached home. My mom was in the kitchen. I choked out the words. Dad's dead. Jake's gone. She paled instantly. The police came, then detectives. I watched from the window while they walked the perimeter, taped off the house, questioned neighbors. That night, they sat me down. I told them everything. The forum, the friend, the meeting, the mistake. They didn't say much, just nodded, took notes. The next day, they brought me in again, copied my devices, my notebook, searched everything. I gave them his username, told them it probably wouldn't help. They asked questions slowly, over and over. I didn't lie. I just didn't have more to give. That night, they let me go. Then the headlines hit. The news broke fast. The headline, "Local man found dead in home." Child missing. Jake's picture was everywhere by that night. Every channel, every screen, his school hoodie. That same look he always had, eyes off camera, arms crossed like he didn't care. The word missing was in bold red. They searched everywhere. Parks, drainage ditches, vacant lots. His friends got interviewed, teachers, even neighbors I didn't recognize. For a week, nothing. Then someone found him. A cyclist cutting through the old bypass noticed something slumped near a dry ditch. At first, he thought it was a bag. Then he saw the hand. Police arrived fast, covered the scene with tarps, but not before the word got out. It was Jake. He'd been beaten. Defensive wounds, no ID, no phone. But he was still wearing his gym hoodie, the one with our school's name stitched into the chest. I found out before my mom did. Someone from school texted me the link. I stared at it for a full minute before she noticed. She took the phone, read it, and collapsed into the kitchen chair. She loved me, and she'd grown to love him too. The police didn't stop. Within days, they found the man behind it all. His real name? Thomas Greenlee, 46, convicted once in his 20s, moved states, changed names twice, built a new life out of data packets and deception. He'd been running the forum from a climate-controlled storage unit behind an abandoned mattress store. No signage, no mailbox, just a keypad lock and a forgotten strip mall address. Inside, they found server racks, safes, hard drives, phones, more routers than a Best Buy backroom. Posters covered the walls, crew diagrams, strings of usernames scratched out in red ink. And that's when they realized the most horrifying truth. There were no other users, no other real people. Every account, every comment, every DM, every karma point, badge, joke, meme, argument, all of it. All of it was him, not. He crafted posts, reacted to himself, built fake reputations, created fights between sock puppets, sent delayed messages to simulate real-time chats. Even his messages to me, those had timestamps, structure. He planned every beat. The only outside IP ever logged? Mine. He had built an entire world just to find one kid who would trust him. The forum had been live for over a year. Each time he rebooted it with a new theme, new rules, new bait. He'd done this before. But something about me. Maybe I was the one who answered too fast, who shared too much. Maybe I was just unlucky. They said my notes, the stuff I copied by hand, were the only real documentation they had. He wiped everything regularly. I was their best witness. They said I was brave. I didn't feel that way. They found him living out of a camper van near the state line. Inside, more hard drives, burner phones, a laptop welded shut. He gave a fake name. Then he asked for a lawyer. He never said another word. He never stood trial. 2 months later, before the sentencing could begin, he slammed his head into the wall of his holding cell. Once, then again, and again, and again, until he didn't move. He left nothing behind, just me. In the months after, I couldn't sleep without checking every lock 3 times. Some nights I swore I heard typing in the walls. The police said it was over, that I was safe, that I'd helped stop a monster. But all I could think about was how many others there might have been. Other kids, other notebooks, other forgotten usernames scattered through wiped drives and encrypted folders. I kept asking myself, why me? Was it just luck? Or was I chosen? I started seeing my own posts and my nightmares. Lines of code bleeding out like veins, every emoji a twisted grin, every fake reply echoing back at me like a voice I'd heard before but couldn't place. School was the same, but I wasn't. People talked around me, not to me. The teachers acted gentler, like I might crack if they gave me homework. I went back and forth between houses, but nothing felt normal. My dad's place was cleaned up, scrubbed of every trace. My mom kept both locks bolted, even when the sun was up. Every corner of my life felt staged, watched, measured. One afternoon, I found something in my backpack, folded up inside the side pocket. The paper was old, creased, faded, but I recognized the handwriting immediately. It was the guide, the first one, the instructions he sent me in the beginning. Except this one was different. The last line wasn't about installing software. It said, "Do not trust the exit." I stared at it for a long time. I hadn't touched that pocket in weeks. I hadn't seen that line before. I burned the page in the kitchen sink while my mom was out shopping. But even then, I felt like something watched through the curling smoke. Sometimes, I wonder if the forum was ever really gone. The IPs were scrubbed, the routers unplugged. But data doesn't die. Not really. What if it's still out there, waiting for someone else to type in the string? What if the next kid doesn't get away? What if I only did because he wanted me to? I think about that a lot. I check forums sometimes. Ones with low traffic, ones with weird design choices, ones that feel a little too responsive. I never post, but I look. And sometimes, just sometimes, I see jokes that feel familiar. I see usernames that blink too fast, comments that sound too close to home. And I wonder, did he really die in that cell? Or did he finally become what he always wanted to be? A ghost in the machine, watching, waiting, typing, backspacing, typing again. A few weeks passed. I tried to get back to normal. School, sleep, avoiding eye contact with anyone who might have read my name in an article. Then one evening, my phone buzzed. No caller ID, no preview text, just a file, a photo. It took me a second to understand what I was looking at. It was my window, my bedroom, taken from outside. The timestamp was from 2 nights ago. I hadn't left the house. My mom was asleep in the next room. The curtains had been drawn. But this photo showed them wide open. The next night, the exact same image appeared in my email. Different address, no subject, no sender, no text. I ran virus scans, checked my router logs, nothing. No signs of intrusion. I changed passwords, pulled batteries, covered cameras, But it kept happening. Different angles, slightly different times. Always my window, always at night. Then, one day, the photos stopped. Not a single message. Not a ping. Nothing. I thought it was over. Until I checked an old USB drive I used to store music. Hidden deep in the folders was a text file I didn't put there. It read, "Your window faces the wrong direction." I moved to the other side. I turned off the monitor and backed away from the desk. For a week, I didn't touch anything online. And then, on a random Tuesday, I was walking home from school. The wind was picking up. I had headphones in, half zoning out. I turned the corner onto our street. There, taped to my front door, was a photo. Me, walking, taken from behind. I checked over my shoulder. No one. And written on the back of the photo, in red ink, "You were never the only one in the forum."